Okay, in this lesson we're going to cover drawing part A of the 4x4 cube for the woodshop students. So the first thing we need to do is launch Solidworks software. I did that ahead of time, so I'm going to give you a second, get that up and running. You may want to pause the video. Once you get it open, we're going to go to New, and we're going to create a new part. And hit OK. And next we're going to set up our grid to make our drawing go a little bit easier. So we're going to go up here close to SolidWorks, and we're going to go to the menu that says Tools and go down to Options. Under Options, we're going to under Sketch, we're going to hit Relationships and Snaps. We want all of these to be selected. We're going to come up here to where it says Grid Settings. In our grid settings, we want to display the grid, and we're going to change this. The major grid is going to be 1. The minor grid lines, we don't want any of them. They're going to be 0. The snap to is going to be on 1. I'm going to go back to snaps, make sure these are all on, and I'm going to hit OK. Now we don't see anything yet because we need to start a sketch. So I'm going to go to the Sketch tab here, right over here, and we're going to select a sketch. Now we need a plane to put that sketch on, so we're going to select the front plane, and I'm going to make it visible by right-clicking over here and just turning the eyes on, and now the front plane is visible. Notice we now have a grid displayed, and it matches the graph paper where we drew these parts up initially by hand. So we're going to do exactly the same thing we did with our pencil, but we're going to use the CAD software to actually create the part. Up here is the line tool, and part A, I'm going to start right here. You'll see a little cross show up. I'm going to click, and we need to go down 2 inches, over 1, click, down 1, click, over 2, click, down 1, over 2, up 1, to the left 1, up 1, to the right 1, up 1 more, to the left 2, up 1, and then we're going to click right where we started. Alright, so that was pretty easy. We're going to do that for all of our shapes eventually, but this is part A. Once we're done with the sketch, we're going to hit Exit Sketch, and we're going to make this into a 3D model by going over here to Features. Go to Extruded Boss, and it's going to highlight the sketch that we have, and we're cutting these out of 1-inch thick MDF, so we're going to make the thickness 1 inch. Click the OK or green check button, and now we have a solid. Next we want to put some fillets in, and we're going to put fillets in all along the 1-inch thickness line. So follow me along here. We're going to set our fillet command, which is up here. We're going to set it to a 0.13 radius, and I'm going to select each of these lines, these 1-inch lines, and I need to select one I can't see underneath here, so we may need to rotate our part to get all of those. There's one down in there, so I can see all of those. If I hold the center button down on my mouse, the scroll button, I can tip this over and I can get to some spots I didn't see. I want to select that guy. I'm going to tip it over here. I want to select all of these. If you accidentally select something you don't want, like this line, you can select it again and it will go away. So make sure you don't select any of those. We want to select just these lines that kind of connect the front to the back of it. So I think I have all of them selected. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit the OK button, and you'll see that I now have all round edges there. So that router bit is going to make a curve there, and it's going to come back in here and make another curve on the shop bot. I want to look at it square on because we need to save this as a special file type in order to bring it into Partworks. So come up here, and you want it to be the front view, and you want it straight on. And I also want to, just to make life simple, under here rather, I'm going to go with hidden lines removed, bottom wireframe rather. We're going to go right down to the bottom where it says wireframe, and now we just have thin lines represented, and that's all we need for this. The first thing we're going to do is save this file. So I'm going to go to File, Save. I'm going to put it in my Woodshop folder in my Documents. So you may want to create a folder that's your last name, first initial Woodshop. And then to save the part, you want to call it your last name, first initial part A, which is what this is. We're going to hit Save. And I already had that part, so I'm going to replace it. The next thing we need to do, make sure you have not scrolled this and tilted it in any way, because the next step is really important that we're looking straight on. So follow me up to here in the corner. We're going to go with the front view, and again, we want to make sure that we're in the wireframe view. This is critically important. We're going to go up here now, and we're going to go to Save As. We're going to make a second copy of this, which is going to be a DWG file. And I already did this once, but you're going to create a Part A DWG and hit Save, and I'm going to replace the one that I have there. So you're going to need to do that for each of your parts, and that pretty much wraps up how you're going to create these. All right. To finish that saving as a DWG, I need to hit this checkbox here, and then hit Save. So now I actually have two copies of this. One is a two-dimensional outline, and the other one is the 3D part. And that ends this part of the lesson.